The day I decided to divorce Leo was my birthday. At the dinner table, I asked him playfully, "Do you love me?" Leo replied without a hint of a real smile, "We're in our 30s, why be so dramatic?" I looked down, silent, and glanced at the screenshot on my phone. In the chat background, Leo was embracing a woman in a passionate kiss. In the dialogue box, Leo had made a heartfelt confession to her. I, Leo Crawford, have only ever loved one person, and that's you, Jenna. Lifting my eyes, I asked Leo, "How about a birthday present?" Leo was quick to agree. "What do you want? Just name it." I quickly slipped the ring off my finger. "A new beginning, Leo. Let's get a divorce." Leo didn't seem to process what I'd said. His handsome brows furrowed slightly. He put down his knife and fork, took a napkin, and slowly, deliberately, wiped his mouth. Only then did he look up at me, his gaze impatient. "Lottie, you're like a different person." I took a sip of juice. "What? We're not allowed to be romantic. After 5 years of marriage. Is it so hard to hear you say you love me?" Leo stood up and walked over, patting my shoulder. "Don't be difficult. You know I'm not good with sweet talk. I heard you lost out on a project recently. Are you in a bad mood? I have a trade show in a few days. Come with me. Get some fresh air." I dodged his hand. "I'll have the divorce papers drawn up and sent to you." Leo's anger flared. "Lottie, are you kidding me? You get pregnant 1 minute and want a divorce the next. Are your hormones out of whack?" Yes, my hormones were out of whack. I had always been mild-tempered, even after years of fighting in the business world. I had always remained polite and composed, but now, pregnant, my temper seemed to have grown. I stood up and tossed my phone in front of him. "You're the one at fault here. Don't provoke me. If this goes to court, it won't look good for you." On the phone was the screenshot Jenna had sent me of her chat with Leo. In the background photo, amidst a crowd of cheering old classmates, she and Leo were locked in a passionate kiss. The text message was Leo's heartfelt confession to her. It was fragmented, peppered with verbal tics, looking like a voice. 2. Text transcription. He said he had never forgotten her, that marrying me on his parents' advice was the biggest regret of his life, that there was no turning back. But he, Leo Crawford, had only ever loved her, Jenna. Leo saw the screenshot and quickly explained. "It was a class reunion. I was drunk. You know Jenna, she's always messing around. She took my phone and just typed that nonsense." His excuse made me laugh. Was the kissing just messing around, too? Leo paused. "Of course, I was completely wasted." He pinched the bridge of his nose. "You know what kind of person I am. Don't worry, I won't go to any more reunions." "Yes, I know exactly what kind of person you are," I said, opening my phone to review the divorce procedure my assistant had just sent over. Leo heard me and smiled. "That's my good wife. Happy birthday. I'm going to go check on the trade show." He grabbed his coat and headed for the door. Just as he was about to leave, I said coolly, "Leo, you're a scumbag who cheated on his pregnant wife." Leo turned back, stunned. "Lottie, why are you being so unreasonable? I already told you, I was Dr. I swallowed the nutritional supplement that came with my meal and replied coldly, "Save it for the judge. See if he believes you." Leo muttered something about me getting some rest and slammed the door. I cut a slice of my own birthday cake and slowly took a small bite. The creaminess triggered my morning sickness. I rushed to the bathroom and threw up. As I was feeling miserable, my phone rang. It was Victoria. Victoria was my benefactor. When I started my own business, she was my first investor. After she retired to focus on her family, she kept in close contact with me, especially since I continued to work after getting married. Lately, we'd both been pregnant and often went for check UPS together. Victoria always said that looking at me was like seeing the version of herself that chose a different path. Now, looking at the message she'd just sent, I had to laugh. What different version? When it came to husbands cheating during pregnancy, our stories were practically identical, although hers was clearly more dramatic. The photo Victoria sent showed a man and a woman in the throes of passion in a car. Their naked bodies were tangled together like two worms, suppressing another wave of nausea. I answered the phone. Victoria was hysterical, her voice thick with tears. "I'm pregnant, and he's out sleeping with a whore, that bastard. I'm so sick I feel like my guts are going to come out." I wasn't sure how to comfort her, so I started with my own situation. "Don't be scared, I'm going through the same thing. We'll handle this together." Victoria gasped. "What? Leo, how is that possible?" Leo was known in our circle as a model husband. His life was a straight line between the office and home. His only hobbies were work and fitness. He was the poster child for clean living, so her shock was understandable, but my silence confirmed it. Her tone quickly turned to righteous fury. Meet me at the hospital tomorrow morning. We'll go get abortions together. I quickly cut her off. No, Vicky, I can go with you, but I'm not getting an abortion. Hearing this, Victoria went into full gossip mode. Fearing the phone wouldn't do it justice, she suggested we meet for tea in a few days. After hanging up, I rubbed my temples and went to lie down. Leo was right about one thing. A pregnant woman does need her rest. Just as I was closing my eyes, my phone vibrated again. It was a message from Jenna. We hadn't spoken a word since college graduation, but ever since she returned from abroad last month, my inbox had been buzzing. Now, she was sending me novel after novel. Lottie, I'm so sorry. I was drunk at the reunion the other day, and I grabbed Leo's phone and accidentally hit the record button in your chat. Leo was drunk too and said all that nonsense. Lottie, we were both confused by the alcohol. You know, he and I in college. At the reunion, we ended up in an embrace. Our classmates were teasing us and took a picture. Someone sent it to me, and I foolishly set it as my chat background. Lottie, Leo told me you're pregnant. He insisted I explain everything to you. We're completely innocent. Please don't be angry. We'll both apologize to you in person another day. What a string of drunken mistakes. Drunkenly recorded, transcribed, set as a kissing background, and then screenshotted and sent to me. After all these years, Jenna hadn't changed a bit, still hiding behind a fragile exterior, still a green tea bitch, a homewrecker through and through. Jenna mentioned college. The three of us were classmates. My relationship with Leo was a cliché, an alliance of wealthy families, childhood sweethearts. From elementary to high school, our families had orchestrated our lives to be perfectly intertwined. Leo was always at the top, and I was always right behind him. We even managed to get into the same university. Our entrance scores ranked first and second. The day we got our acceptance letters, Leo's grandfather brought him to my house. He said our engagement should be settled, with a formal ceremony in a couple of years when we were older. Leo's mother had joked, "You never know what kind of vixens you'll find in college, latching onto any rich boy they see. We can't let them ruin this." Leo had retorted sharply, "I only love Lottie. I'd have to be blind to look at anyone else." The adults all laughed. He had pulled me by the hand to a quiet corner. My face was burning as he kissed me for the first time. He said he would always take care of me and never betray me. I never thought that in our freshman year, Leo would go blind. He fell head over heels into Jenna's web. I say web, because Jenna's method was never a blatant pursuit or a subtle seduction. It was a series of manufactured coincidences, followed by wide-eyed, innocent explanations. She and I were roommates. Leo and I were inseparable. The entire university knew we were a couple, but Jenna always managed to create some kind of special story with Leo. Like on a field trip, she rode her shared bike straight into his. She ended up with bruised arms and a bloody gash on her forehead. Leo took her to the hospital. Afterward, she would grab my hand and explain, "Lottie, don't misunderstand. We just went to the hospital. Nothing happened between us." Or when Leo and I were on a team for a student activity, she would sign up as a volunteer. She'd, accidentally, spill the milk tea he bought for me, ruining our materials, then volunteer to reprint everything. Dragging him to the print shop, she'd come back and say, "Lottie, we were just printing something. Don't overthink it." At first, Leo would complain to me about her, saying she was the most annoying girl he'd ever met. But after a few more of these incidents, he changed. He started bringing two of everything. "That poor roommate of yours, Jenna, she has it rough. Here, a little charity for her." Later, he started calling her Jenna, and she started calling him Leo. At my freshman year birthday party, Leo put his arm around her shoulder and announced to everyone that from now on, she was like a sister to both of us. Jenna had laughed brightly. "What sister? More like a brother." And, of course, the same old line, "Lottie, don't misunderstand. We're just like sworn brothers." A while later, after being brothers for some time, Leo suddenly told me that his feelings for me were not romantic. After we broke up, Leo and Jenna had a whirlwind romance. It ended when Jenna went abroad with her professor. Leo's grandfather had beaten him black and blue. Leo had knelt outside my house all night, dragging his injured body through the rain. The rain had made his wounds bleed. He had collapsed and, in the hospital, had called my name over and over, begging for my forgiveness. My mother had held me and said, "Lottie, all men make mistakes. Stop being angry with each other." My father, his face stern, had called me unreasonable for not letting Leo in, causing him to get sick. In the end, I couldn't bear to throw away a lifetime of companionship. Following my parents' arrangements, I got engaged to him. I never thought that now, with Jenna's return, they would play out the same drama right in front of me. Victoria chose a tea restaurant with a light menu and an elegant atmosphere. In the 2 weeks we hadn't seen each other, we had both been caught up in our own dramas, but she had dark circles under her eyes, her hair was a mess, and her clothes were disheveled. I, on the other hand, was calm, dressed in a soft cashmere dress, accessorized with a delicate pearl necklace. After a bite of dim sum, I took my supplement. Victoria finally couldn't hold back. Lottie, did I mishear you on the phone? Leo cheated. That can't be true. I shook my head. You heard right. Victoria was baffled. Then I don't get it. I want to get an abortion immediately. What's wrong with you? After all this, you're really going to have a child for that filthy man? I calmly patted her hand and asked, Vicky, we've known each other for a long time. In your observation, have I ever done anything without a plan? Meeting her searching gaze, I pulled out the prenuptial agreement Leo's family had promised me. The agreement stipulated that if either party cheated, the cheating party's assets would go to the child. Victoria was full of admiration. You old money families are different. Us nouveau riche would never think of something like this. I gave a wry smile. It's all about strengthening family ties through marriage. After all, for wealthy families, divorce is a destabilizing factor. This was their solution, but the agreement was cunning. The clause was only valid if a child was born, and once a child is born, most women, especially ordinary women, would not choose divorce. After 10 months of pregnancy and the pain of childbirth, how could they bear to let their child grow up without a father? I thought of my mother. When I was young, my father had his affairs. My mother would come to me in tears. Lottie, I'm only staying with him for you and your brothers. I don't want you to be without a father. I was young then and always indignant on her behalf, but now that I was older, I had a different perspective. I would not be an ordinary woman. Victoria handed the agreement back to me, her face grim. Lottie, I don't have this kind of protection. I comforted her. Think it through. This isn't something to rush, but you can't delay it either. Before I could finish, Victoria interrupted, her emotions flaring up again. I don't need to think. I would never have a child for that disgusting man. I swallowed my shrimp dumpling and wiped my mouth. All right, since you've made up your mind, there's no time to waste. I'll go with you. Let's get it done today. On the way, the plan was for her to have the procedure and for me to have a check. Outside the clinic, a girl had just come out of the operating room, her face pale. Another was squatting on the floor, hugging her knees, her head buried low. When our number was called, Victoria gripped my sleeve tightly. She looked pale, her hand trembling slightly. I whispered, "What's wrong? Don't want to go in." Victoria bit her lip and pulled me into the nearby stairwell. It was empty. She sank onto a bench and covered her face, sobbing quietly. I went over and gently held her, murmuring, "Don't hold it in. You can tell me anything." Victoria buried her face in my shoulder, her voice shaking. Lottie, I'm so bitter. It's not fair. My body isn't well suited for pregnancy. I took countless fertility shots to have this baby, and this is how it ends. If it were you, could you bear it? And I haven't had my own income for a long time. My husband has been systematically shorting my old company for years. This child is the only leverage I have left. Without him, what will I do? She poured out her heart. I sighed deeply and wiped her tears. This is better. These are the things you need to think about, not impulsively talk about abortion. Lottie, you. Victoria looked up. You think it's that easy? I smiled. You need an appointment. But people only think clearly when their backs are against the wall, so I pushed you to come. Now that you've calmed down, we can plan. And from now on, I don't want to call you Mrs. Hayes anymore. I'll call me Vicky. Vicky hugged me tightly. After she had composed herself, we went for my check. Unexpectedly, just a few steps out of the elevator, we saw Leo. He was helping a woman with a bleeding leg queue up at the surgery department. Both were in workout clothes. The woman was wearing Leo's jacket, but it couldn't hide her curvaceous figure. It was Jenna. Isn't that your Leo? Vicky's newly calmed emotions surged again. She stormed right up to them. She grabbed Jenna and slapped her across the face. Everyone, come look. A dirty homewrecker. Her shout drew a crowd. Jenna clutched her face, tears welling in her eyes. In the chaos, before Leo could say anything, a young man holding a water bottle ran over. Who are you calling a homewrecker? Well, this is lively. Who are you? Vicky asked. I'm Nathan, Professor Zhou's student. Professor Zhou is a brilliant professional. You can't slander her like this. The young man was tall and full of youthful energy. I had already had someone look into Jenna's situation since she returned. She was a lecturer at a university, This must be her student. Brilliant professional. She's human trash. He's a married man. What are they doing being so close? Vicky's finger darted between Leo and Jenna. At the scene of my husband's infidelity, Vicky was more agitated than I was. The situation was almost comical. Ma'am, you've misunderstood. I was injured and couldn't stand on my own. I ran into an old classmate at the gym, and he was kind enough to bring me to the hospital. You can't just accuse people like that, Jenna cried pitifully. Leo quickly pulled his hand away from Jenna and shouted at the crowd. It's a misunderstanding. Nothing to see here. Disperse. I let out a cold laugh. Leo, you're always too busy to come to my check. UPS. So this is what you're busy with. Leo walked over to me, concerned. I've been under a lot of pressure lately, so I've been going to the gym more often. It was just an accident running into Jenna. Last time it was drunkenness. This time it's an accident. How remarkable. I sneered, pointing at the jacket Jenna was wearing. That jacket. I bought it for you. At my words, Leo snatched the jacket back. Jenna was wearing a tight, cropped top underneath, her cleavage on full display. She shivered from the sudden cold. The student, Nathan, quickly took off his own jacket and put it on her, then offered her a bottle of water. Professor, have some water. Jenna pushed the water away and came to me, crying, Lottie, we were roommates in college. Please believe me, nothing happened between us. Leo only gave me his jacket because I was cold. Professor, you don't need to explain. The innocent don't need to defend themselves. Nathan pulled her back. Leo took my hand. Lottie, let me take you to your check. Up. These three could put on a whole play. I felt a wave of nausea. No, thanks. You stay here. I shook off his hand and quickly walked away with Vicky. As we walked, Vicky said with satisfaction, I didn't catch that snake of a husband of mine in the act, but slapping Leo's mistress feels just as good. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Vicky sighed. Lottie, you're so strong. Aren't you angry at all? I've already been angry. Now I just want to solve the problem. I sighed. Jenna's appearance might be a blessing in disguise. Vicky, I've had enough of my life with Leo. When Leo and I first got married, I was filled with joy, thinking that despite the hiccup, I had ended up with the man I loved. From school uniforms to a wedding dress, I worked hard on our relationship. Leo had a minor lung issue, so I made him lung soothing pear soup year round. He liked to work out, so I would join him at the gym in my free time. But gradually, I realized something was wrong. When I was upset, he would just buy me gifts instead of asking why I was unhappy. At the gym, there was no communication. He would even dodge when I tried to wipe his sweat. He wasn't like this before we were married. After he broke up with Jenna, he had tried so hard to be good to me, saying he wanted to make up for his mistake. But after we got married, he was like an engine that had cooled down after a race. I was tormented, unable to find the reason. I would break down in the middle of the night, holding him from behind, asking if I had done something wrong, that I could change. But he would always say I was perfect and tell me not to overthink it. Slowly, my heart grew cold. In public, we played the part of a loving couple. In private, we were like roommates. Until recently, when Leo held me and said, Lottie, we should have a child. I want to have a child with you. My mother-in-law had been pressuring us as well. A sliver of hope rekindled in my heart. Would a child make things better? I never thought that before I had an answer. I would be pregnant. And I never thought that Jenna would reappear at this exact moment. Leo said he was drunk when he kissed Jenna, but I knew what he was like when he was drunk. He had been drunk countless times at business functions. Without fail, he was always calm and composed. So the moment I saw the photo of them kissing, I knew the answer. Our marriage would not get better. And Leo's so-called drunken confession made me see things with perfect clarity. His actions before our marriage weren't atonement. They were a trick to get me to marry him. And after we were married, he regretted listening to his family. The from school uniforms to wedding dress story I was so proud of meant less to him than a single drink with the woman he couldn't have. The night I received the screenshot from Jenna, I didn't sleep a wink. My pillow was soaked with tears. I regretted being a coward, struggling in a decaying marriage for so long. I was ashamed of my own foolishness, thinking a child could save it. The child, so innocent. In the end, I was deeply grateful that I had never given up my career. It was the greatest source of courage for me to keep going. After leaving the hospital, I chatted with Vicky for a bit more. When I got home, Leo was already there. Lottie, he said, moving to hug me. I quickly stepped back. Disgusting. He awkwardly retracted his hands and handed me his phone. Lottie, I know I shouldn't have any more contact with her. I really didn't expect to see her at the gym. We're old classmates. I couldn't just ignore her. Check my phone. I've deleted all her contact information. We're strangers from now on. Then, with a look of sincere earnestness, he produced a necklace. Don't be angry. It's not good for the baby. This is a rare blue diamond necklace I bought at auction. Here, let me put it on you. I said nothing. Leo led me to a mirror and put it on me. The blue diamond sparkled with a clear light. Looking at his pleading eyes, for a moment, I was transported back to that rainy night. He was in the hospital, injured, and he had held my hand just like this, begging for my forgiveness. I wouldn't fall for the same trick twice. Leo, this kind of cheap trinket, I can buy a dozen of them whenever I want. It's nothing special, I said coolly, touching the necklace. Leo, who had been bent over, looking at the mirror, slowly straightened up. His tone turned cold. Fine, I'll find something better for you next time. But you should be careful too. Don't get too close to that Victoria. She's lost her mind. She actually hired a private investigator to follow her husband. You should be a good wife. You've always known how. In the mirror, his long legs flashed past. Then came the click of the door closing. After he left, I quickly took out my phone. The surveillance footage my assistant had found was already there. Leo had told me not to be like Vicky and hire a PI. Huh. As if I needed to go to such trouble. He didn't know that I had bought that gym a long time ago. I was the owner. I had asked my assistant to pull the footage while we were still at the hospital. In the video, Jenna entered the gym with Nathan. She scanned the room, found Leo, and quickly got on the treadmill next to him. From feigning surprise to her eyes welling up with tears, her transformation was seamless. Then, she moved to a treadmill far away from him, while frequently glancing back at him. She suddenly stumbled and fell. Her leg was scraped and bleeding. Nathan rushed to help her, but Leo sprinted over, shoved Nathan's hand away, and swept her up in his arms. Rushing out, Jenna clung to him like an octopus. Watching the video, I had to admit, Jenna was a master. She played the game of male competition with expert skill. I called my assistant. Find me the contact information for a student of Jenna's named Nathan. After that day, Leo started staying out all night. I scheduled sessions with a therapist, getting a mental massage from time to time. I told my therapist about what was happening. She asked me, Ms. Sterling, have you ever heard of a compliance test? I nodded. I have. That was the only time I ever sneered at a gift he gave me. He didn't like it. So he punished me, trying to make me submit. The therapist smiled. You're very sharp, Ms. Sterling. To be honest, you mostly come here to vent. Your psychological resilience is quite good, but it's clear that your composure and maturity were born out of suppression. A wave of bitterness washed over me. I was raised with a lot of pressure from my family. Luckily, I've been working on myself for years. I'm much better now, the therapist advised. During this time, while making sure to rest, try to stay busy. It will help you escape from negative emotions. I agreed. I followed her advice. I was so busy I had no time for self-pity. During the day, I worked. At night, in between helping Vicky pick out projects, I would watch the gym videos my assistant diligently sent over. It was like watching a TV series. In the days Leo was gone, he still went to the gym every day, and at the same time, Jenna was always there. Her leg had recovered with miraculous speed. She was there, rain or shine. Each time, she chose the equipment furthest from Leo. She still brought Nathan with her. Nathan was very attentive to her, from adjusting the machines to handing her water and towels. He was a perfect gentleman. After years of marriage, I knew Leo too well. On the surface, he was exercising calmly, but he was distracted, especially when Jenna and Nathan were laughing and talking. Leo's movements would become stiff, and every time Jenna interacted with Nathan, her eyes would dart in Leo's direction. On this three-person stage, Jenna was deliberately using another man to make Leo jealous. Leo had taken the bait and was simmering with jealousy. Only Nathan was blissfully unaware. Leo's workouts became more and more distracted. Finally, one day, Jenna came alone. She fumbled with a machine, clearly not knowing how to adjust it. She looked around, helpless. Her eyes met Leo's. They stared at each other for a full minute. Then, they both started walking towards each other. Leo helped her adjust a nearby machine. They exercised side by side. They didn't say a word, but I knew. The dying embers were about to reignite. 2 weeks after Leo stopped coming home, he called me one morning. Lottie, my trade show gala is in 3 days. I'll have a gift sent to the house. Get ready. I replied coldly with 2 words. Not free, and quickly hung up. That evening, I invited Vicky over. I wanted to discuss the projects I had selected for her. I had analyzed the situation with her before, The most important things right now were 1. Deciding what to do about the baby, and 2. Regaining control of her finances. I had her get me a detailed list of all the assets under her husband's company. From it, I had picked out a few inconspicuous but high potential assets. No matter what it takes, begging, playing pitiful, whatever, get these in your name. It will give you a relatively decent chance to get back in the game. Vicky was amazed by my business acumen and nodded repeatedly. She looked at the simple analysis I had written and suddenly said, "Lottie, before I came here, I wasn't sure about the baby. Now I have my answer. I'm not keeping it." Her voice choked. "I can't continue to live with a cheating man. Since I'm leaving, my priority is to rebuild my career. I'll be overwhelmed, and I can't give a child a good start. And I'm not like you, Lottie, you're rational enough. I'm a dependent person. I'm afraid if I have the child, my whole life will revolve around it. That's not good for me, and not good for the child." Vicky took my hand. "And I understand why you're keeping your baby. Your abilities give you that confidence." I nodded. The gift of parenthood isn't just about giving birth, it's about lifting them up. Honestly, making Leo leave with nothing is just his punishment. My child won't lack for money. I can give my child every resource. Vicky asked, "Lottie, have you considered the issue of an absent father?" I took a sip of water. A child's healthy personality depends on their upbringing. It's better to have no father than an inadequate one in a repressive family. A good mother is enough to provide a complete education. Vicky's eyes were red. She couldn't agree more. I clapped my hands and stood up. "All right, enough serious talk. Vicky, want to see something interesting?" I brought out some healthy snacks and freshly squeezed juice and played the latest gym video from my assistant. Vicky immediately switched to gossip mode. "Leo doesn't look too happy." I gave her a thumbs up. "Good eye, Vicky. I gave him a piece of my mind this morning. He's probably furious. Then he'll need some stress relief, won't he? Where's his little mistress?" The moment she said that, Jenna appeared. They were running silently, side by side, after their workout. Jenna picked up her water bottle, but put it back down. Looks like she forgot to fill it. No water, no towel. She looked pitifully at the water bottle and towel in Leo's hands. "Vicky, she's pulling out the big guns now," I commented. Vicky said, "She's laying it on thick." Leo hesitated for a few seconds, as if in a fierce internal struggle. He finally handed her the water bottle. Then, he slowly walked over to her. He took his towel and actually started wiping the sweat from her forehead. This was the moment Jenna had been waiting for. She grabbed his hand. Large teardrops rolled down her face. She threw her arms around his waist and kissed him. Vicky, who had been eating nuts, her mouth agape like a stunned hamster. I started clicking the mouse frantically, taking screenshot after screenshot. Vicky threw down her nuts and asked for the gym's address. "Lottie, what's the point of screenshots? From my experience, those two are definitely going to have a story tonight." Vicky quickly made a call to the PI she had hired. "I need you to follow 2 people, now." At 9 that night, the PI sent a message. Leo and Jenna had gone to a hotel. Vicky grabbed her coat and pulled me towards the door. "Now we have solid evidence. Come on, I'll take you to catch them in the act." As we were leaving, I suddenly remembered something. "Vicky, we don't have to go. I have a better candidate. Remember that young man at the hospital who swore Jenna wasn't a homewrecker?" I had had someone look into their relationship. Jenna had given all her research projects to Nathan, but she had taken credit for most of the results. The way Nathan looked at her was far beyond a student's admiration for a teacher, and the fact that he had accompanied her to the gym multiple times showed their relationship was not ordinary. I picked up my phone and called Jenna's little wolf dog. "Hello, sorry to bother you, but I think you'll be interested in what I have to say." At midnight, I received a bombshell. First, a friend request popped up on my phone. Nathan had found my account through my phone number. The moment I accepted, photos started flooding my chat. All of them were of Leo and Jenna's secret tryst. Nathan had somehow managed to get into their room. In the photos, Jenna was huddled under the covers. Leo was in a bathrobe. On the floor were a few used condoms. The scene was salacious, enough to make anyone blush. Nathan called me. "I'm sorry, I was out of line at the hospital. I only found out today that she's been playing me for a fool. She used my feelings for her to exploit my labor, telling me she loved me while carrying on with your husband." He took a deep breath. "Ms. Sterling, I have to expose this woman's true colors." I didn't say much, just gave him a contact. It was the email of Jenna's former professor's wife. I had also found out that Jenna had little academic ability. She had published multiple papers during her years abroad by latching onto her professor. In academic circles abroad, She was already known as an academic siren. She had been driven back to the country by the professor's wife. She was a habitual homewrecker. I called Leo and told him to come home that night. He agreed readily. It's good that you've seen sense. I'll be home tonight. He thought I was surrendering. When he got home, Leo looked exhausted, probably from the stress of Nathan bursting into their room. I added fuel to the fire at the right moment. The coffee table was covered in photos. Leo, is this enough evidence for you? His face burned. He spoke in a hoarse voice. You're not going to leave any room for negotiation, are you? I nodded. We get divorced tomorrow. You leave with nothing. I get the child. From now on, we have nothing to do with each other. For once, Leo was furious. Charlotte, you think you're so high and mighty. Let me tell you, this affair is not all my fault. Look at yourself. Do you even act like a woman? All our lives, you've always had to one-up me at crucial moments. In school, you always had to fight me for first place. That's fine, but even after we got married, you couldn't settle down. You were always in the business world, showing off. Now our marriage is in crisis, and all you can see is money. You're as cold as a robot. Do you know why I like Jenna? She made me feel the passion of love. She made me feel a woman's reliance on a man. Leo had completely lost it. After his tirade, he sank onto the sofa, holding his head. I listened quietly. In the silence, I suddenly laughed. Leo's eyes were red. What are you laughing at? I shrugged. I'm laughing because I finally understand what impotent rage is. I didn't bother to argue with him. I had wasted enough time on him. You can't wake someone who's pretending to be asleep. I handed him the divorce papers. Leo sneered at me. Good. After we're divorced, I'll marry Jenna immediately. She's not a cold woman like you. You can go hug your money and die alone. Thank you for the good wishes, I said coolly. Leo was livid. He snatched the papers and signed them without even looking. During the cooling-off period, my father called me incessantly. Are you insane? You're getting a divorce while you're pregnant. I listened quietly as he listed all the downsides of divorce, the reputations of both families, potential property disputes, the dissolution of our family's business ties. Not once did he consider my happiness. I didn't say much, just replied simply, Leo is about to be embroiled in a huge scandal. This divorce is a protective measure for the Sterling family, and at the end of the day, Dad, whether I get a divorce or not is my marital freedom. I will consider your opinion, but I will no longer accept your manipulation. And tell Mom not to try to persuade me. It's useless. All my life, I had endured too much of my father's education. He taught me that girls shouldn't be too ambitious. The most important thing was to marry well, to be proper, low-key, and obedient. He gave all the work at the corporation to my brothers. He chose a good family for me. But now, the absurdity of that was laid bare, and my mother, who had chosen not to divorce for the sake of her children, trying to maintain a peaceful facade, was actually living on thin ice, full of grievances. I didn't want that life. My life, and my child's life, would be defined by me. The day we went to get the divorce certificate, Leo brought Jenna in front of him. Jenna looked awkward. Lottie, I told him we shouldn't get the papers on the same day. He wouldn't listen. But when Leo stepped away to take a call, she turned to me, triumphant. Charlotte, you lost to me in college, and you've lost to me now. Thank you for taking care of Leo for me all these years. A man as excellent as him is truly the best one can hope for. I watched her, expressionless, as she puffed up like a fighting cock. After we got the certificate, before I left, I smiled at her. I wish you happiness. Your wedding gift is on its way. With that, I turned and left. At the same time, I sent a message to Nathan. The divorce and marriage are done. Find a good time. You can release the information now. After Vicky managed to secure her assets, she filed for divorce. Her husband had laughed at her, thinking it was an empty threat. Vicky told me she had scheduled the abortion. I went with her. Before she went into the operating room, she touched her belly. Lottie, I feel like I'm failing this child, but I have no other choice. I took her hand. We can only ever make the best choice available to us, right? Vicky nodded and went in. Inside and out, one life was ending, one life was growing, but both represented the courage to start over. The news of Leo leaving his marriage with nothing began to spread online. Clearly, he hadn't told Jenna. On the contrary, he had hired trolls to spread posts about his new marriage with her. The headlines were all about, "True love conquers all," but his true love couldn't wait. Jenna called me, furious. Charlotte, have you no shame? For old time's sake, and you make him leave with nothing. You really played me. I laughed. This is just the beginning. What goes around comes around. You should watch your own back. After I hung up, a new topic exploded online: academic siren. Someone had done a detailed analysis of all the academic achievements Jenna had acquired over the years, either by stealing resources or by exploiting her students. There was also a PowerPoint presentation detailing all the evidence of her repeatedly destroying other people's marriages. That same day, the university she worked at quickly issued a statement saying they had launched an investigation. A few days later, the results were out. The allegations are true. This is a violation of professional ethics. The lecturer has been dismissed. In comparison, the true love post seemed utterly ridiculous. At the same time, someone leaked the news of my pregnancy, confirming that Leo had cheated while his wife was pregnant. The stock price of the Crawford Corporation plummeted. Leo, who had been a board member, was removed in a late-night statement from the company. The competition among the Crawford heirs was fierce. Leo's older brother used the opportunity to have him completely kicked out of the management. At that point, I blocked all of Jenna's and Leo's contact information. My belly grew bigger. At 8 months, I received a call from an unknown number. It was a familiar voice. "Lottie, are you due soon? Can I come see you? I want to see our child be born." It was Leo. I hadn't heard from him in months. His voice sounded ancient. Before I could speak, he added hastily, "Lottie, I divorced that crazy woman Jenna." "Lottie, I'm so sorry, can you?" I cut him off. "Mr. Crawford, your situation with your wife has nothing to do with me. You are a disgraced man. Your career is in ruins. Take a good look in the mirror. My child has nothing to do with you. They will take my surname. Sterling, take care of yourself. Don't call me again." On the other end, Leo's voice was choked with sobs. He couldn't say another word. Time flew by. My due date arrived. Vicky, who had been working non-stop on her projects, took a leave of absence and spent all her time at the birthing center with me. She would lean her head against my belly, listening to the baby move. Her eyes would well up with tears. "Lottie, we agreed. This baby is yours. And mine too." I smiled and agreed, talking to the little one who was kicking inside me. "You little rascal. Look how much your godmother loves you. I'm afraid she's going to reach in and pull you out right now." The day of the birth, after a loud, clear cry, I officially received the precious gift from the heavens. In that moment, I was exhausted, but also filled with strength. I silently prayed, "May your heart be clear and your eyes bright, your body healthy and strong. May your soul be free and your character kind. May you be fearless, follow your heart, and always move forward."